Okay. Looks like we are live once again. What's up, guys? My name is Gabriel Quinn. I am a concept artist, character designer, all that fun stuff. And yeah, today we're just working on yet another character design. So big updates from last time we can talk about a little bit while we invite some people into the live stream, because this is a live stream, so we gotta wait for people to come in and join. Oh my gosh, wow, you guys really showed up for that last stream. I think we have over 1,000 new subscribers. I think like 1.5 thousand joined the subscribers, so like that's amazing. So welcome everyone who just joined. It's kind of funny that everyone joined for that stream because I have like terrible audio quality right now. I'm traveling currently, so I have a travel setup on this tiny little rinky-dink tablet that I'm working on, and I've got my iPad mini as my second monitor. It's a hilarious setup. So, but I'm so happy you guys still tuned in and joined and came into the space. So welcome everyone new. It's so exciting to have you all here. Yeah, I'm just gonna let people know that I'm live. I always let people know in the community Discord that I'm live, so that's cool. And I will also be letting people know, I think today on my channel as well, I'll also be letting people know that too. So let's copy the link there. But yeah, just hope everyone is well today. And honestly, Happy New Year. Oh my gosh, Happy New Year, guys. That's so cool. So, so yeah. All right, that's done. And we gotta let them know as well in the Discord. Oh my God, wait, everyone's joined. Awesome. Gustavo Sanchez joined. Ryan's here. Mego's here. Artistic Cheese here. Mixter D is here. Welcome, guys, and Happy New Year. Oh my gosh, so exciting. So cool. Yeah, Happy New Year, guys. So exciting. Bit of a longer intro today, I think, than usual. So let's let people know. Let's also go for... Gosh, so inefficient. Sorry about this, guys. Let's copy the link here. So yeah, the character design we're working on today, I'll show you guys a little bit about the Discord too. So what we're working on today is, just letting people know in the server that I'm live, is part of a character design challenge that the last stream was based on too. So in the community Discord that I run, I set aside time and days and hours to kind of like do a little bit of a lecture demo and stuff, kind of talk people through some process, and we all do a character design challenge together. So this week was really fun. This was my design, obviously. This is the one that I did, which was a ton of fun to do. But everyone had such a unique take for this one. Michael did a really well illustrated character here. There's a lot of themes of alchemy and all this fun stuff happening. I can show a little bit more. Robert had this really cool long bladed creature with a very strong silhouette for his design. Mego did such a great job here with his tree folk-esque character. Such a great silhouette and character acting. It's really excellent. And Ray did such a great job with the posing on this character too. So much energy and so much story happening with this character. So there's like a lot of fun, right? Keegan also killed it here with his very well thought out concept, this kind of camouflage cape into sword, into this different motions with this beautiful portrait as well. So everyone did a great job, and Pendowski here did a really, I love his viz dev approach. It's like so full of color and stuff, and which is great. Ayub did a funny drawing of me, I think, which is kind of hilarious. I don't know how well the likeness fits, but hey, here we go. I'm in dire need of a haircut these days, so don't judge me too harsh, guys. And Mojo did a great job too with less time, but still such a cool idea, this bird motif. So let's talk about what this looks like, how we got here. It was a really unique one. I mean, before that, we did another challenge where I did this hawk informant rogue character who talks to the little street rats and gets information and stuff. And that one, people did such a great job for this one too. I mean, I could scroll through the work that everyone does for the challenges all day. Like Abe, such an incredible job here with these great energetic sketches. In any case, I could go on forever and ever and ever. And again, Owl did a great job with this character too. Really fun honey scavenger kind of character. So we do these like every week or like twice a week or whatever. But yeah, in any case, we got some homies in there too in the big art room. So yeah, so that's enough of the Discord to show you guys for now. But it's anyone can join the Discord. It's $3 a month, so It's just kind of like operating costs. It allows me to put a lot more time into it. It's great. And everyone who's in and active, it's an absolutely wonderful space. So definitely join in if you'd like. All right, I guess after that, we can talk a little bit about... oh, and also, guys, seats are still available for my course. If you want to take my course in February and March for character design, definitely grab seats. The link is in the description. It's an incredible opportunity. It's at a really low price point for what it is. So I'm all about like access. I want people to have access to stuff. So the course runs like as close to at cost as possible for me. So if you want to take the mentorship course, it's a lot of value and a lot of potential for growth. So if you want a one-on-one mentorship experience with me and also with a classroom experience too, going through different character designs and fundamentals and stuff, you can check that out in the description. Okay, marketing over. Now let's talk about this character. So how did we get here? Well, we started with a random kind of set of images. So normally what I like to do in these challenges with everyone is kind of take some non sequitur elements or images, whether it's words or pictures or whatever it is, and kind of build relationships between them with a title. So when looking at these, right, we have this little small kind of like charm, like this is obviously like a toy or something, right? But when you kind of zoom out, it's got this unique kind of beauty to it, and you can really imagine what it could be if it was real or at scale or whatever. Oh wait, let's say hi to everyone. Everyone just joined in again. HD's here, Happy New Year. Calvin's here, Rob's here, Ryan's here, says love your design. Was curious about the hilts. Does it extend out when activated? Yeah, so I'll go through the design as well. Really exciting stuff. And Nabs says hello. Oh, awesome. Welcome, Nabs. It's got some OG patrons here too. Gosh, we've been doing this for like a few months now, like honestly like a few months, and we're hitting benchmarks. It's really exciting. Calvin says Gabriel Menti here, if you can take the course. It's been really great. Oh, awesome. Yeah, dude, Calvin's improved so much. So proud of Calvin. But yeah, okay guys, let's go through this here. So yeah, with this sword, we've got this going on, and I saw this really unique image of like the process of carving for a spoon. Like there was something about this that I really liked, and so I just grabbed it because I was like, you know, what could go wrong, or like why not add an element in? When you're grabbing reference and images for the basis of your design, when you're grabbing a lot of these different references and stuff, basically what you can do is take a lot, and you can always omit. You can always let go and say, you know what, I don't need this, or yes, I do need this, or rah, 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 rah. You can always let go and say, I don't need this anymore. But if something strikes you, grab it, because even if there's something strange about it that you like you can always incorporate it into your design, right? So it's like you're grabbing, you know, a spice off the shelf, and you don't have to use the whole bottle, but you could use a sprinkle if you want, right? So then on this side, we also have this random vintage photograph of a runner, which I really like this design. Of just the shape and silhouette and the vibe. And then I saw this, which I love so much. I love the parallel idea here, so I grabbed this image too. I thought this was so cool. It's kind of like mirror effect, and also I love the idea of like concealing something of value. Like there's something concealed here, right? This cloak is covering an object of beauty and something of value, so there's like a unique quality there. And then this bird had a similar kind of back and forth feel, this mirror feel, like not quite symmetry, not quite, you know, parallel, but honestly both symmetrical and parallel. So it's like this cool mix. So basically what we did was in the group together, we kind of went through and said, you know what, okay, let's go in and look at all these different things and kind of grab what we can. But we started with a title. So for this character, we wanted to do a rogue character. So kind of grabbing this rogue idea, because once you have a title, it's like putting everything in a book. When you title the book, it changes your impression of everything you read inside the book, right? So like, for instance, if you wrote a book that says like, you know, the worst people I've ever met, and you have a bunch of pictures of like random people in a town, you know, you're going to be wondering like, oh, what's wrong with these people? Like, why are they the worst? You know, your brain's going to be problem solving for that and finding reasons. Whereas if you said, these are the best people I've ever met, you know, in my life, and it has all those images, your first impression is going to be entirely different. So when we're looking at reference, when we're looking at material for world building, for idea generation, all that stuff, we want to ingest material, you know, have it feed the beast that is within us so that we can actually do stuff. Choosing a title is very powerful. So now we have this mononym rogue that we're using, right? This is the kind of like basis for the rest of the design. So zooming in now at each of these different things, all of a sudden there's different implications here, right? So, you know, it being a rogue and all that stuff, we looked at the sword and it's got, you know, it's ornamented, it has beauty, it's a weapon, so that's significant, right? Something being a weapon is very significant. And something, you know, it's blue also. You can't undercut the power of something being blue. It's virtuous, it's calm, it's noble, all these different elements, right? And oh, we got more people. Awesome. Suzu Atto says Happy New Year. Enzel is here too. Oh, love you guys. You guys are awesome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And welcome again to all the new subscribers. It's just unreal. Like, so many of you guys joined. That's crazy. So it's also ritualistic as well, which I thought was kind of curious. That was one of the mentees caught this. They're like, ooh, it looks almost like a ritualistic item. And I was like, ooh, that's really interesting. Okay. And then here, there's this thing, you know, we looked at this item and I think we kind of skipped it initially, but, you know, coming back to it, we were like, it's a created tool from rough material or like organic material, but it's a created thing that is refined from something rough or organic or there, right? So that like kind of just stuck with me a little bit. So then here with this little pose, I guess just grabbing the idea of like an action run, constricted movement, purpose, dramatic lighting, like all of those things kind of came together. Like it's all relevant, right? But here's where things get interesting, in my opinion, because we have this forward-backward motion, right? That's the kind of motif I picked up from these shapes. I was like, there's this forward-backward energy that I really like. Concealing something of note, maybe, and because of the crafted nature of this, you know, there's almost like, is it a uniform? You know, there's something there. Like, is it a uniform? Is it this? Is it that? And then again, one of the mentees caught this. I think it was Mego. It's like looking at the cloak and the gold of the bird and the blue and the sword. It's almost like they're part of an order. I think we thought about like the nightingales in Skyrim, a few other examples, and like almost like a noble assassin or something. And so of course we had to grab the For Honor character and take a look at that and deconstruct it and kind of acknowledge that it's very relevant actually to the design we're doing. It didn't end up coming up too much, but it's kind of cool to see that by following these truths of random images, you end up with the motif of a solid character design, like something you would see in For Honor, right? So that was cool. That was cool that we arrived there, we caught that, acknowledged it. But with the bird, we have this, you know, there's maybe some kind of like forward-back mechanisms happening, and also this forward-back motion, like we're thinking about themes, movement, pose, weaponry, all that stuff. So now that we kind of had all these different elements here, we wanted to push and continue to kind of just develop and stuff. So this is when we all kind of took our own space. Usually in the challenge for the longer ones like this, we kind of take our own space. I think we had 2 hours to do this, I think. Have some of my matcha. My matcha that my beloved, lovely girlfriend made for me. Thank you so much, Isabel. You're awesome. You're the best. I love you. And we got started. So what did that look like? So for me, it looked like kind of putting everything in a corner just so it was there. So I kind of saw it and I started sketching, right? And the first thing I was drawn to is like a weapon design, because the mixture of the sword and the thing and the whatever. So I kind of designed this strange sword here. I kind of just drew this out and I kept kind of messing with it and redesigning it and crafting it. And this is kind of this idea that I had. And then I had this idea of maybe the sword itself kind of like was contained in a mechanism. So this is what it was when it was sheathed. And one thing we actually brought up in the discussion with the references was like being part of an order and a uniform with the robes. And jokingly, I acknowledged, I was like, you know, like the Jedi robes in Star Wars like aren't that cool. Like they're kind of basic and weird, you know. So that was something I brought up like as a joke. But weirdly enough, it ended up being a really big influence in the final idea I had. So I was like, you know, the Jedi uniforms are kind of lame or whatever and blah, 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 blah. But when I started sketching and I started coming up with this idea of like this hilt that expands and like the blade comes out or something with the blade, right? I started thinking about like, ooh, okay. So like, and then I had this action pose I was sketching. I was like, maybe he's like lunging forward. And I was like, I don't know about that. Maybe not. So after that, I sketched this guy, and I kind of just sketched it free sketch, you know, like not a lot of underdrawing or whatever. Like I just wanted to have fun. So I sketched out this guy, and he kind of had this idea of like this hilt hanging at his side, right? and I moved some stuff over. I moved the sword up and the hilt over there, and just to kind of check it out. And what I found in this drawing was taking from this motif of like dark and light, this kind of like roguish part of an order, concealment of nobility or something there. Like I kind of wanted this character that looks like he was hiding something. He wants information, he wants power, he wants authority or something, but it's like it's all hidden, it's under the surface with this character, right? He's very powerful or very in control, but in a very minute way. So pushing that, I came up with the final design, but I'll strip back the color first. So essentially, with this design, I kind of looked and I was like, all right, so I have this guy, and then I kind of came up with this idea of like, what if this was a character that was like operating in a temple or someplace holy or special, and they're like an acolyte or like an alchemist or something, and they're almost like a secret agent maybe, right? He's got the look of a secret agent on him a little bit. So looking at this guy with that kind of secret agent vibe, I was like, what if this sword, this weapon that was kind of at his side, was like a sacred object almost, and it contained some kind of alchemical magic infusion, and when the blade clicks open, the back of the hilt, this answers Ryan's question, the back of the hilt shoots out almost into like a half spear, and the little handle bits here on the side, these bits like flick open to the side, to either side. And I had this idea of like, what if it like rips the material off of whatever's around and does some kind of alchemy so it creates the blade. And I was like, yo, that is so cool. Like it's got that magic, that alchemy, that creation of something out of like something organic or there or present. It like had all the elements I wanted. And I love this idea of like, he like flicks open the blade and it like rips the tiles off the floor. That was the first thing that came to mind. So I was like, what if there were these sick turquoise tiles that got like ripped off the floor of this temple? Like if the temple was invaded and like flicked open, it was like right, like I can hear it in my mind, and then there's a duel. Of course there's a duel. And I even had ideas of like, if this character was fighting an armored opponent, like it could like rip the armor off the guy or like pull like metal fillings out of their mouth or like something cool where it's like ripping stuff and it's like a powerful relic, a powerful item. I thought that was like a really cool idea. So I wanted to kind of show that as quickly as possible, because this character design challenge that we do in the server, it's something that we do to really test ourselves and push ourselves. So in that respect, in that regard, I really, really wanted, just that. I wanted something impactful that I could achieve in 2 hours. So this was kind of the design that I came up with in that amount of time, was sort of like, I wanted noble colors. So blue, something very simple with the gold motif, I thought it was very powerful, and it does kind of have a strange sort of Jedi feel, but it's almost, in my opinion, like more interesting. It's more nuanced and better. Like, what is the order that this character is a part of? Like, who is he? What is he up to? Rah, rah, rah. So, and also when sketching this stuff, you can see I kept it so loose. So I relied a lot on drop shadows, black drop shadows, to kind of like block in the space, make sure you knew what was going forward and what was behind. The silhouette was strong with the cape here going out, and here as well with the kind of pringling overlap thing that's happening here, that there's layers to the cloth and all that stuff. So I wanted that really intense depth. But when it comes to the actual real sketching, if you zoom in, it's very loose. Like, this is an idea of a hand on the ground, an idea of shoes on the ground. So it's like very, very loose idea. But for these kind of sketches, sometimes that's all you need, so I kind of blocked in some tile implication and all that stuff, and the blue of the thing and the raw, and there's some potential here for the weapon to kind of take the shape of whatever is needed. Like, it's a very intuitive thing for the alchemist to kind of like whip together whatever they need in the moment. Oh snap, we got a lot of people in here. Okay, wait, let me say hi to everyone for a quick second. Ash is here. What up, Ash? Happy New Year. Louis is here. Happy New Year to you too, buddy. Harshita's here. Says good morning. I love it when I catch your streams. It's always so informative. Awesome. M3's here. What up, M3? Harshita says, it is the day after New Year for me because I live in the future. Happy New Year to everyone regardless. Nice. And Moskin is here, says, hello, your work is super inspiring. What would be your advice for a beginner? I bought a tablet recently and it kind of feels stiff. I need to get used to it. Yeah, so that's a great question, Moskin. I mean, we can take a little break from the lecture here about this character because we kind of explained most of it. We could talk a little bit about that. Because one of the rules of the server, or of the, not the server, of the the chat here is that, you know, while I try to answer every single question I can. But yeah, so drawing with a tablet is really, really hard to get used to. I think if you're used to drawing with pencil, one thing you can try is working with just a simple kind of opacity brush. Like for me, one thing that helped was using just like a opacity round brush to sketch in things, because it almost has the feeling of either a ballpoint pen or a pencil, but usually a ballpoint pen, it feels like. So using this kind of just like hard round with opacity is good. If you want a more natural feel, you can grab a brush, like some kind of sketch brush. This is one that I made. I actually made this on stream recently, which is fun, that I use for gesture. But each brush is going to give you a different feeling, right? So, but drawing digitally on a tablet, like, it requires a different control, because on paper you have resistance because there's actually texture on the paper, so you're able to maintain a little bit more control. And some tablets have texture on them, but it's never really like paper. And if you're drawing with a tablet that's not a screen tablet and you're looking at a screen while you're drawing with your hand, that just takes a lot of muscle adjustment, like a lot of muscle memory adjustment, to kind of get that mirroring effect, so you're actually able to draw competently. But yeah, cool. So that's that. But advice for beginner: do just repetition. It's like if you start dancing ballet, you're not going to land a perfect pirouette on day one, right? It takes muscle memory to gain command of where your body is. It's the same thing when you scale it down to drawing. It's the exact same thing. You want command over how your arm moves. That's why mileage is so important. So you can put down smooth lines, right? Smooth lines, and when you draw an ellipse or you want to draw a cylinder, you're actually able to nail it pretty accurately, so you're not drawing something super inaccurate or different, right? You're not drawing like one thin ellipse and one thick ellipse. You're able to really draw with clarity and with accuracy the object that you want, right? So muscle memory is a huge component. And that's true of any craft, right? If you are, you know, a calligrapher, it's all about repetition. If you are, you know, a painter, it's all about repetition. You want command of your hand. You want it to go where you want it to go. So I hope that answers your question. But with digital media feels weird because it is a image manipulator using pixels to emulate a traditional based medium using pigment and real material to leave marks on whatever given surface that you choose. Got another sip of matcha here. Cheers to a new year. Of course, Moskin, I got you, dude. So now we've arrived. We've arrived at this design. We've got the color down. I drew a quick little. Oop, that was another project from another whole thing. I drew like a little quick portrait of the character. Strangely enough, in the thumbnail, I noodled with it even more to kind of make it work. So I can maybe drag that in if I wish. Let's see. Yeah, here we are. Maybe I can jank. You know, grab this coloring from the thumbnail. Oh, it's so jank. I love it. Making thumbnails is a really unique graphic design problem. I find it very, very interesting. So, also, let me know, guys, if my audio sounds bad, just in case, because on the last stream I checked back and I was surprised, like, ooh, sounds a lot crunchier than I thought. But I think it's better now, so you guys can let me know if that's true or false in the chat if you can. Hopefully it's okay. Oh gosh. I think it's misaligned from the get-go. It doesn't super matter, right? But I like this dark-eyed look. I thought it was really cool. Like, I really liked it. So we want to maintain that dark-eyed look in the actual final, right? Something really unique and beautiful about it, which I liked a lot. Cool. Now we're drawing technically. Now we're getting after it a little bit. Which, hey, you know, it's allowed. We're allowed to draw technically. Oh my gosh! So I'm using this janky little tablet. Because I'm traveling, I had to like grab whatever I had, and I can't really stream efficiently on the iPad yet. You know, like I would in a normal setup. So I had to grab what I had at the time, which was this Wacom 1 that I won in a competition. It's this like little jank Wacom tablet, which I'm not a tablet reviewer yet, but I will say that I probably would be hesitant to recommend this even to a beginner. But you know, it's something that I had in my possession, so I figured, hey, why not use what I have, you know, not get too fussed up. So we're just kind of making it work. All right, so we grabbed the colors from that in a very, you know, unceremonious, not very efficient way, but that's fine. All right, let's see how you guys are doing. Shan Betty says, do you have advice when it comes to having a problem with perfectionism in your art? Yeah, of course. It's like perfectionism. I think perfectionism is a term I would use the least amount if you possibly can. Like a lot of these terms like art block, perfectionism, you know, like all these different things that we talk about and use, like I would use those terms way less. And I would instead, this is actual advice, I would instead kind of say to yourself like, okay, you know, I'm having issues finishing my work. I really care about it. I'm attached to the final outcome and I'm dissatisfied often with my final outcome to the point where I'm showing my work to people. I feel like that's a better way of describing the thing that we say perfectionism. We say perfectionism, but you know, it's really a lot more than just the word perfectionism. It's also probably tied to a deeper root issue of you are not satisfied with yourself. Granted, also take everything that I say with a grain of salt. I'm just a man. I'm one guy. And I have a lot of opinions about art because I've been doing it my whole life. So I have a lot of opinions about it, but that doesn't make me right and definitely get a second opinion. But if it works and it resonates, I'm just going to share with you guys what works for me, right? But perfectionism, I feel, is a very inefficient way of describing a very complex and deep, challenging problem. And when you use something very shallow to describe something very deep, in my view, in my experience, it doesn't work very well because you want to apply a simple solution to a very complex problem. So I would instead really have an idea of your goal. So figure out what your goal is with art and work backwards from that, right? Is what kind of skills are you trying to attain? What's your action plan for attaining those skills? And if you're dissatisfied with the art that you're producing now to the point where you're not showing it to people because of this idea that it needs to be better or more, then I think be realistic. And being realistic isn't a bad thing, and it's not like being harsh with yourself. It's more saying I want to lift 600 pounds. I want to do a 600-pound deadlift. So I'm going to train so that I can do a 600-pound deadlift. It's not, I really have to do a 600-pound deadlift, so I'm going to go and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to hustle and I'm going to grind and I'm going to lift 600 pounds. It's like your muscles can't do that. They actually cannot do that at all. So you're going to injure yourself and feel very frustrated because you can't lift the weight. So it's like you got to be realistic about what you can actually do. And I was just talking about this with everyone in the Discord recently, is that it's like you cannot possibly compare or make art and drawing different than any other craft or skill. Like that's a super dangerous thing to do, but people do it, right? Especially with drawing. They're like, oh, you're so talented with drawing. And that's like, a very challenging thing to ingest properly. Gosh, we're just talking and not really drawing right now, but it's okay. I guess I can start to come up with some ideas while I'm sketching this. So we have the guy, and he's kind of got this interesting, unique mood about him, right? He's kind of a mysterious guy. He, oh wait, I remember what I did. I remember. It was this too. I needed some more intensity in the eyebrows. Now I remember. Wanted some more focus, some more push in that brow, right? Man, eyebrows make such a difference. But yeah, like, that's what I would say with like perfectionism, man. Perfectionism, it's such a terrible term. It's same with art block and same with like all this stuff, man. It's like, it's bad. I even saw, you know, I'm seeing people critique certain advice, like when people critique the advice of like draw every day. They're like, don't draw every day. It's toxic advice. It's like, okay, it's not inherently toxic advice, and drawing every day is not, you know, you an inexperienced person are taking the idea of drawing every day and making it into something unachievable for yourself and then getting very frustrated about it. So it's like, you need experience to be able to learn efficiently. And the way you gain experience is by doing it repeatedly. So if you burn yourself out by repeatedly doing something you can't do, then you're not going to be able to reach the point where you can actually learn efficiently. Sorry, this is a very information dense stream. Sorry, guys. Also, Moskin says, yeah, my unsatisfaction with myself reflects in my art. I've been feeling shallow as a person lately and stuff. And I do also looks really uninteresting. Gotta improve myself. Well, yeah. So, also welcome Andrew Larkin. I mean, like, even that statement you just said about you're feeling unsatisfied with yourself and it reflects in your art. You're feeling shallow as a person. Well, that's again an issue of your, in my opinion, an issue of your perception. If you're viewing yourself as a shallow person, if you're viewing yourself as like I'm not an in-depth person who this and that and rah, 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 and whatever, it's clear that you are not giving yourself, you're not giving yourself a perspective where you're able to view the true multitudes that are within you, right? So human beings are remarkably deep people if you actually let yourself go there in your mind. But in my view, in my opinion, a lot of how our world is set up and how we are ingesting social media and all this stuff, like, we don't have a moment. We don't have one moment that we're alone with ourselves. We don't have one moment where we're not on our phone. We are like always being, your attention is always being taken, and there's always saturation around you. And, you know, that's a very tough way to live. When there's no quiet, because you're not able to experience the depth that is you. Your attention and your knowledge of yourself, you've become a stranger to yourself. So you are not a shallow person. Your perception of yourself is shallow. That's what I would say personally. But again, grain of salt, guys, grain of salt, please, grain of salt. Things to think about, right? And also, it's like, you got to see your life across time and across space, right? It's like every day is different. How you go about your days is different. How you learn is going to be different every day and all that stuff. And it's like, if you are currently very hard on yourself right now and you are expecting more than you're capable of, then that's a surefire way to stop yourself from improving, because now you're motivated by shame, you're motivated by all this other stuff, and you're playing to not lose. You're not playing to win. And that's a big distinction, in my opinion. Also, right now, I'm just kind of sketching a random building, I think. We'll see. Maybe this is like part of the alchemical school that the character is in. So I can be doing some little sketchies while I'm doing that. Also, I watched Harry Potter recently, so I think I'm probably going to end up doing some Hogwartsy shapes without realizing it. But yeah, so that's some like general perspective, I think. I think people are way too hard on themselves. And it's not like this thing of like you are being cruel to yourself. It's that you don't actually have proper perspective. You don't actually know what to look for. And when people are getting into art especially, they have no idea what fast improvement looks like. They don't have any idea of what meaningful improvement looks like. You know, people will trick themselves. They'll draw like a very realistic eye and be like, oh, now I am good at realistic art. It's like, well, you know, you understand the shapes of an eye and you understand a process of rendering it into a representation of form through value based on either your process or someone else's process. And you have to learn how to do that with every other subject you approach. So it's like creating this idea for yourself that you are a certain way, or now you're good at this one thing. It's like, got to really detach and stay open. Sorry, I feel like I'm totally rambling, guys, but you got me going. You got me really going. But people are coming in, so I guess it's good. So let's see what you guys say. Shan Betty says, "Oh, I see. By the way, I heard that gesture is a good thing to start with as a beginner, and I can be beneficial to character design." Yeah, we can talk about gesture for sure. Harshita says, "I think when people say draw every day, it means draw regularly." That too. I mean, like, because, so let's say, for instance, like my warm-ups today. I'll show you what I did for my warm-ups today. This is what I did. So this is what I did. I just did a random page of random shapes. I did a couple donuts in perspective, a weird made-up gun shape, a guy, another guy down here. I did a broom end and a weird sword. I like these shapes for swords a lot, apparently. You can kind of guess. A random organic shape with some shadow, more organic shapes, a loaf of bread, a cylinder, a piece of fruit, another few berries. This was my warm-up. If you do this every day, that's drawing every day. And this took me 20 minutes. So it's like, drawing every day is not like, draw a realistic character and a good illustration and post it. It's like, no, dude, no. And again, that comes from inexperience, is this feeling of this is the first take for the character. I actually love this a lot. I think there's a lot of energy here that I kind of lost. But when you're inexperienced, you overwork yourself because you don't know when to stop. You don't have a strong process, so you're all over the place, man. Okay, wait, let's do this. Let's do this. Harshita says, drawing every day is great advice as long as it doesn't become part of your identity. Eventually, there will come a point in your life when you can't draw every day, especially when you don't do art professionally. Yeah, I mean, like, making anything your identity in a toxic way is bad, but I think it was Marcus Aurelius who said, you are what you repeatedly do. And there are some great people who I think make art and drawing their identity in a very beautiful way. Like Kim Jong-il, it wasn't like he was like, I am a guy who draws. Like, he just loved drawing and he did it every day. So it's like, making it your identity is one thing, but if it's who you are and it becomes who you are through your actions, I don't think that's bad at all. Let's also see, the reason I got back into drawing was because I got back into writing stories and I want to draw my characters. Maybe I learn about them. Yeah, no, drawing is such great research. It's so rich for research. So that's fantastic, Shan Betty. Emily says, welcome Emily, I think a lot of people get so stressed out and lost in desperately wanting to improve and becoming a great artist that they forget the whole reason they're drawing in the first place is for fun. Yeah, so here's another thing too about that is that, like, a lot of professionals will give you the advice of like, grind the fundamentals, grind the fundamentals, grind the fundamentals, grind perspective, grind anatomy, grind lighting, grind color theory, and blah, blah, blah. Like, grind the fundamentals, man. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do that, and only that, and then you'll get good, and then you'll do this, and then you'll do that. And it's like, most of them didn't actually do that. Like, they learned fundamentals, right? Along the way, they learned fundamentals, but really what got them into it was just a ton of mileage. And a lot of professionals will give you hindsight advice that they wish they did. So somebody who wants to be better and they're a professional will say, oh, dude, you got to grind the fundamentals. Because in their head, they're like, well, if I grinded the fundamentals, I would be even better right now. But if they only grinded the fundamentals, they would probably have quit early. You know, if you only do studies and dead art, it's like you do lose track of why you're even in art to begin with. I see so many students do that. So many. And they quit, dude. They quit and they go and they switch careers and they do other stuff, and they had serious potential, but they quit early. Doesn't mean grinding the fundamentals is bad. Learning the fundamentals is great, but like, it's allowed to be fun. Like, it's allowed to be a fun experience where you're working on cool ideas while learning the fundamentals, like, you know? So there's that. A says, hi, what are you currently drawing? I'm drawing like a weird building situation, I think, just kind of like noodling it into existence. I was thinking about doing an alchemist school for this like character, or like an alchemist temple for this character who's like this like acolyte, alchemist, secret agent guy, like somewhere for him to patrol and like for espionage to take place and secret stuff to happen. So I'm kind of imagining, like, what if there was a cool building world where, you know, some funky stuff was going on behind the scenes and there's some cool things. So I'm just kind of scribbling some stuff out right now. I'm not an architectural designer, but I still have fun with it on occasion if I have time, which I've made time today. Let's see how much time I have left for this stream. Okay, I've got about like, I think like an hour to go before I gotta bounce. But yeah, I hope this advice is helping, guys. And again, can't stress this enough. Grain of salt. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. Find out for yourself. Discover for yourself. But one thing I will say is that keeping it fun and just like drawing a lot, it's like there's a reason why you started drawing. It's because drawing is fun. And staying detached and keeping it fun is, like, I think, such an important practice, personally. So let's see. And feel free to ask any other questions, guys. Like, that's like totally chill if you guys want to ask anything else along the way, right? So that's good. All right, I'm imagining I want some organic shapes in here too. So let's do a circular shape, like a fun, weird, organic circular shape here. Ooh, for this one, I think I want to do 10%, I think, maybe. Yeah, let's do 10. So someone asked about gesture earlier. Gesture is really great to practice for all levels, you know, continuously throughout your career and your artistic practice, because gestures, what it gives you access to is like motion and feeling, and it kind of connects the idea of a character wanting to do something and like a character's intention with action, right? So if your character has poor gesture, then it's not actually going to be the character that you're trying to draw. So like so much is in gesture. And for my character design mentorship that I run, that I'm running in February as well, is so much of the feedback is gesture-based feedback, because you need that energy and that gesture in your work. Otherwise, dude, your idea just like dies, just totally dies. Okay, this shape is weird. Let's try something else, something strange. Nice. I've been exploring more with some environment stuff. I mean, it's not something I want to do, I think, commercially, but it's just like fun to learn if I like have the space. It's good to do. It's good to be able to place your characters in an environment too, which is fun. There's some environment artists that are so talented. It's so incredible. I'm like so impressed with what they do. It's really cool. Yeah, always so impressed. Here, let's put the guy, so we want it to be coherent, right? So one way to make something coherent is to grab the character. Maybe we'll grab this too. We'll grab it. Oops. We'll grab it. And then for this page, we'll paste it. So we like have it to the side. So we like remember who we're designing for. Because that's part of it, right? You want to remember who you're actually designing the space for. So for instance, this piece here, this sketch right here, gesture is very important in both of these circumstances, because we're showing extremes. We're showing where the character is most reserved in this pose, where his hand is holding his cloak near him and his other hand is reserved. He's a very closed off character. And the look in his eye, he's looking down and looking at you. That puts him in a position of power. If a character's looking at you like this, they're like a predator, right? So he's looking with intention. So he's got that predator look about him, which is nice. And then this gesture here is very energetic. So there's a lot of energy zooming up from the ground, being planted back on the ground in the feet, dispersing the energy back into the ground. So the energy for this gesture and this character is really, really strong here. So that's kind of cool as well. So that's sick. Let's see, what else? Yeah, so gesture is very important, right? It shows the extremes, all that stuff. And for character design, it's hugely important. Gesture is, like, in my opinion, one of the most important building blocks for successful character design. Any of my mentees will tell you that for sure. For sure. So let's see what we got going on. Nice. I hope some of you guys are drawing as well while we're working. I love when people are like, I love the background noise of the sketching and drawing and all that stuff. So I hope you guys are sketching along too. You can see maybe this goes up in the back and it has another area back here. Maybe something fun and exciting. We want things to feel very kind of grand and interesting, right? Yeah. Yeah, another thing that I do feel is worth mentioning, since we brought up all that other stuff, is that you can achieve mastery. Like, there's this urgency that people have to prove to themselves that, like, I can become a good artist. So they put a ton of pressure on themselves to rush everything and try to gain as much skill as quickly as possible and all that stuff. And it's like, it's not a bad thing to want to attain skill, not a bad thing for even attaining skill at all. Like, it's, you know, it's great, more power to you. If you're hitting your goals and you're producing cool stuff, like, that's great. But I feel like a lot of people need kind of this relief to know that, like, you can achieve real incredible levels of mastery. And it's important to acknowledge, like, a lot of your favorite artists that you love and that are really good, they're like late 30s, mid 40s, early 50s. Like, they've lived a whole extra life, or like 3 of your lives they've lived. And it's worth acknowledging because, you know, if you are drawing every day for 40 years, like, you're going to get really good, right? I mean, even for me, I need to remember that, you know, I'm still growing in my skills as well. And it's like, it's a daily practice to do so. It's in the mundane every day, right? But it's the people that stick with it that make it, man, because you just need to stick with it. Let's see. So the shape here, the circles feel a little disjointed, so I want to kind of make them a little more grounded. So I'll make them part of more of a medium shape by grouping them together with the pattern here. It's a cool little trick for you guys if you're curious. Grouping your small shapes to kind of make them more of a medium shape, make it more appealing and interesting. But yeah, gesture is very important. 100% do gestures, guys. Gestures, warm-ups, draw, like, just have fun, you know, like, do some stuff. And it's like, if you're working on a more intimidating piece or a more time-intensive, skill-intensive piece, make sure you're giving yourself time to do some sketching for fun first, just with no pressure sketches that you just throw away or do whatever. Because, like, just getting your body moving, it's really important. There's a reason why the band practices before they go on live, right? You need to get it in your system, so it's just like second nature when you're actually doing it, rather than fighting yourself in the process. Cool. Alright, this is like a unique architectural design here, but I kind of like it a little. Yeah, there's something cool going on here, which I like a lot. Maybe we do like a bigger window here. Some kind of like master castle tower thing, maybe. Maybe these need to be shrunken so they're like sunken in. Yeah, that feels right. Feels cool. But yeah, so we want to, you know, the stream is titled, you know, build your process to have more fun drawing. And, you know, it's interesting that these discussions came up and these points came up in terms of like having fun while drawing, because I feel like a lot of people want to have more fun while drawing, but when they're drawing, they're stressed out. And that's no way to be, man. That's no way to be. It's like if you're doing like a happy fun dance and it's like you're super stressed out doing the happy fun dance. It's like you're not actually doing the happy fun dance. You know, you're like in your head about it. And so a lot of these narratives we have around who we should be and our art and what we should be doing and all that stuff, like those narratives, they're so loud. And usually they're loud when you're drawing because you don't have any other time of quiet in your life. You know, there's a lot of social media, you're binging shows, you're doing whatever, blah, 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 and like all this stuff. And it's like, you know, becoming a competent artist, like any kind of craftsperson, it requires some kind of lifestyle, right? Like if you want to be a woodworker, you got to be in the wood shop making stuff. Like you got to be doing it. And you got to wake up and make lunch so you can go to the wood shop and make stuff while you have lunch. So it's like there's infrastructure that is needed for your life to kind of flourish. And you can think about it in a similar way with art too. Like you need infrastructure. And part of that infrastructure, I think, is giving yourself space and time to be alone, to, you know, have that peaceful moment where you're able to study and enjoy the process in the moment. Not be so attached to like, can I post this to Instagram? How many likes will it get? How many this will it get? How many that will it get? And the more experience you get with like landing a job or a commission or, you know, getting a lot of likes and stuff, like the more you realize like it really doesn't contribute to your happiness at all. It's really in the doing, man. It's like, dude, Jim Carrey was so right when he was like, I wish everyone could get everything they ever wanted so they realize it's not the point. It's just true. That's like a true thing. Very, very true thing. All right. Since you guys aren't asking too many questions, I'm just going to keep rambling at you. I hope it's good. I hope it's good. I have a few friends who wanted to try streaming and they were having a hard time, and I started streaming and they hit me up and they're like, oh, Gabriel, you know, like you're so good at just talking. And I didn't really realize that was like an issue for people as much, like talking in dead space and just kind of saying stuff that you have opinions on or whatever, like into dead space. And I realized like, like I should have started doing this a while ago. Like no one can shut me up for real. And I love drawing, and I love drawing live. It's so much fun. So, okay, we got a little world going on here. I actually really like this. This is cool. So what if we did like a cool, I want to do like a multi-tiered thing where like something is in the way or like something is whatever. Or like maybe something lower to the ground is happening, like along the ground. Like maybe there's a cutoff of this and there's something coming in front and it's like this kind of shape. A lot of interesting motifs coming out here. It's very like Cirque as well. This kind of design. Maybe this is made of like stone, so we want to show some of that material on the side here and there in a couple areas maybe. I don't actually know how we want to indicate that. Nah, we'll do that across the Terminator when we block in some colors. I love bridges, like architectural bridges and stuff. Like it's such a cool, I love when like there are these interesting struts and areas where there's like, you know, dead space or a cliff or something cool, and like things kind of just sort of continue all around and continue up. With something like this, I can really lose myself and just like draw like a cityscape or like a little buildingscape for hours and hours and hours. Like that's one thing that I definitely can do, which got to be a little careful of sometimes. You don't want to spend too much time on things that only really need a certain like iterations or something, you know. Prioritization is important. Okay, sweet. See, little windows as well. So cool. Oh, I love drawing so much. This is so much fun. And we're keeping it really loose. Like, this is not like, you know, I'm not giving this to a 3D modeler. They have to do like a 1-to-1 or anything. Like, this is just fun sketching for me, you know? Almost like if this was like the background to like a comic or something. Just like very, very loose. Yeah, I love these shapes. These are really fun. And like imagine if there was like a cool like banner or something that like had little tassels in the wind or something like that. Like I like that idea too. And maybe there's like a flagpole coming out of here. Yeah, like there's something here, right? There's something about this that we're doing that I really like. So maybe we do these at an angle. You know, they're flapping all around and have a flagpole here, and it's yeah, that's fun. I like this a lot. Okay, so maybe we work on the character some more now. So we did a little sketch of this little vibe going on. I like the idea that these are like very organic shingles, like something cool. All right, I'm liking this. I'm digging this. This is rocking and rolling. Doing some little pattern motifs here and there. So like kind of having that sort of repeating pattern, even if it's like a little organic shape, like it's nice because if it's a pattern, it's not too noisy. If it's not a pattern that's orderly, it's very noisy. So if you guys want to have detail but have it kind of blend in, definitely make sure it is an orderly pattern. Even if you're adding details like chainmail onto something. Cool. That's cool. Wait, I like that. That's nice. Could do it on the top too. Cool. Yeah, any other concept art design questions from anybody or anything you guys want to know about process or something like that? You know, I'm an open book. Also, no pressure. Zero pressure. I'm trusting that the commentary is sufficient. No, that's no good. I think this building down here doesn't fit too much. Yeah, it was like a raised, like a staircase situation. Maybe with some like shrubs, some trees and stuff around. I like the idea of like trees and stuff going around. In between and underneath and all around. Like I like that. Maybe this is the grand entrance to the thing. Maybe there's a wider line that appears and there's a larger semicircle-esque structure behind, and that's the grand gizmo or whichever. Yeah, there's like so many ideas we could do with this kind of concept, which is cool. And I'm imagining in terms of a person size, they're like this big. So like the scale is quite giant for this world, I feel. I like that idea. So these are truly giant doors. Spirals never fail, man. Spirals never fail. Cool. I actually like this a lot. This is really fun. This is really cool. So we've set some rules for design, right? So we've kind of have a few shapes that we have repeating in certain areas now, which is nice. I definitely like that a lot. We can kind of create some more peaceful rhythms here by adding a little circle at the end of these sharp shapes. It just softens it a lot. We can do that here too. Add a little circle. Kind of allows it to be simultaneously more like Baroque decorative and also like a little bit softer in terms of the sharp intensity of the shapes too. But yeah, how far are we in now to the stream arena? Let's see. Okay, we're about an hour in. Yeah, this is usually where I start to slow down a little bit. I get a little tired and all that good stuff. But yeah, let's see. Let's do some more. So what could we do here? What could we do? Maybe we remove the guy for now. Oh, this is so sick. I actually love this. This is cool. You want to have like certain energies kind of continue. It always feels nice. So we can imagine something coming in front here. Something like in this general vicinity and something behind that's a little bit higher at that level. You know, have it all be very unified in terms of shape and height and all that stuff. This looks like a pineapple. Cool. Cool. So at this point, I'm kind of like now in a sort of a flow where I'm able to draw these organic shapes and have them kind of be working and unified in a unique way, which feels really good. Yeah, dude. Sweet. I actually really like this a lot. This is cool. Oh my gosh. Wait, I got stuck on a thing. Oh, you guys have been talking this whole time and I haven't seen it. Oh no. Wait, let me find out where we were. Oh my god, it got stuck on one. Okay, wait, let's read through this now. My goodness. My goodness. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry. If you try to grind the fundamentals, most people are just gonna end up burned out. Yeah. Carcita says, I got to a decent level by drawing. Stupid amount of fan art. Ha, that's good. Fan art's good. Portfolios were off. Learn fundamentals, anatomy, and drew more fan art. Draw what you like. Great advice. That's true. Draw what you like and draw what you know. It's like for writing. Write what you know, right? Draw what you know, too. Moskin says, imagine his sword absorbing the window so he can get in without much noise. Yeah, that could be really interesting, too. Or even becoming like a cool stained glass blade, which I love a stained glass sword motif. It's like one of my favorites. You'd be having fun. Nice. Distracted, you made a bunch of talk about it now. Dude, I missed everything everyone said. I'm so sorry. Shan Betty says, I recently found your channel and I'm starting to get more inspired to sketch. Let's go! Yes, Betty, let's go. Wickard says, I'm in college and I want to live off my art. The only reason I don't drop off college is because of the pressure my family puts on me. Do you know anyone that has quit college for art before? Yeah, dude, modern day James. He dropped out of med school to become an artist. And he's doing so well. Modern day James is killing it. Also, I know a lot of people who finished engineering school and quit engineering and became concept artists. That's like a very common occurrence in the industry that you see. Depends on how many years you're in. If you're in a lot of years, like, God, I don't give education advice like that. I know a lot of artists are like, don't go to college. It's like, dude, everyone's different. Windcrow says, what are some daily character practice you do daily, and how much time do you try to make each drawing? Depends on the drawing, depends on the day. Moskin says, speaking of college, high school is about to end, but I'm hesitant to pursue art mainly because of AI. Who knows what it's going to happen after 4 years. I like to get some game dev though. Really makes me excited. Dude, that's a very common fear. Yeah, that's the very, very common fear of AI. I don't know. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Well, again, I don't give education advice for university or art school or pursuing art. I mean, I think like if you're somebody who is going to pursue art, you're going to pursue art. Like that's just what's going to happen. Blue Red said, got into the mood of drawing while watching Arting Along. Awesome. Let's go. Everybody's drawing. Heck yeah. Dude, let's go. Is this Photoshop or Illustrator? This is Photoshop. Drewski. Mike is here. What up, Mike? Jaden is here. Welcome, Jaden. Sad you can't do art. That's okay. I love Aaron Blaze's animation so much. I get frustrated not being able to do animation like his. Dude, Aaron Blaze is like a lifelong animator. You know, if you want to get into animation, it'll take you a long time to get to Aaron. If you'll ever reach Aaron Blaze's level, he's so good. Perfect time for me. Nice. Strange sort of state when I draw. I just sit down and get into a weird state. 4 hours pass by without realizing. Yeah, you get into the flow, man. Flow state, baby. Solmiki says, how do you do world building without getting overwhelmed with all the world building process? Moskin, I'll answer that when I'm done going through Solmiki. Moskin says, I always narrate what I'm doing like I'm streaming. Nice. Nice. Pure English, normally speak combination. Nice. I'm almost done catching up. I really like world building, can help with not making drawing boring. Oh, you're so right about that. Really could help someone who's struggling with feeling like drawing is a chore, or also fan-based stuff. Yeah. The Weasel. I'm a new cartoonist. I created a comic about me as a superhero. Oh, that's fun. Nice. What was the prompt? What was the difference between clothes? How do you come up with the clothes and suits your characters in their world? Well, I will answer that for sure. What kind of brush is this? This is just simple hard round opacity, not like an actual brush. It's just like if I showed you, it's just a round brush with light and dark. You can see how bad the pressure sensitivity on this tablet is. My God, So bad. Such a cheapo tablet. Not good. Not good. What's the difference between concept art and illustration? How do you come up with illustration ideas? Concept art is you're making an image for someone else to finish it for a product. So if you're doing concept art for a toy, then the final product is the toy. If you're doing concept art for a video game, the final product is the video game. If you're doing an illustration, the product is the illustration. That's really the only difference, to be honest. How do you get ideas for illustrations? Oof, there's some incredible illustrators that'll help you out to figure that out. But you got to be very clever for illustration if you want to make really good ones. I'm not the guy right now to tell you about that. We can talk about illustration another time on another stream, but for now, we're focusing on a concept here. Oh, we're at the end. Let's go. Suzu says, how involved are you in the idea making as a concept artist in studios? Are you mostly just visualizing ideas a team made, or are you involved in the idea discussion? It's both, and it depends on the project, but mostly I have some leeway, which is good. Usually when people come to me, they come to me wanting me to come up with a lot of the idea. That's where I work really well. Grimex says, hey, welcome, Grimex. Odysseus says, hello, welcome. The pineapple architecture is very fun. Let's go. Zella says, just finished my foxes in a graveyard painting I've been working on for a few months. Let's go. Do you have any illustrators you recommend checking out? Oh my god, yes. Gosh, I have so many, but it's too many right now to discuss. Let me do a few. Sean Tan is really good. Sean Tan. Thomas Blackshear, I think that's correct. Thomas Blackshear. Who else? Any of the, like, Norman Rockwell, and obviously Lion Decker. Lion Decker's so good. I'm writing this in the chat for you. But there are also, like, a bunch of other incredible illustrators out there too that are so good. But yeah, those are a few. Those are a few for you. But yeah, so let's answer the question. Solmiki says, how do you do world building without getting overwhelmed by all the world building process? So I'm going to walk you through that process right now. And this is what I mean. This goes back to the title of the stream as well, in terms of process, building your process to have fun, right? Because if you're overwhelmed, you're not having fun, I don't think. So let's talk about process for world building. There are many, many methods for world building. But one of them, which is my favorite, is found world building. Right? So found world building is something that you do, like, while you're in the process of creating, right? So for instance, even in this drawing, if I were to say, like, ooh, okay, cool, and, like, this is an observatory and it is powered by this this mechanism that captures the energy from the solar system, and it turns on an axis. Around the thing that follows certain solar structures and planets to absorb the energy, and it's on this rail track that crisscrosses and goes around, and this thing is, like, you know, wrapping around, and there's gears on it, and it goes like gung, 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 changes direction when it wants to, and there are fun tracks, and it's this cool thing, right? So I just came up with that literally on the spot, just sketching and doing lines across a big dome, right? So it, like, gathers energies from the sun, but mostly at nighttime as well, right? It has all these cool magical properties to it, so it's capturing a lot of that cool energy. Maybe there's a couple going at the same time that are, like, crossing paths for different purposes, and they're going around in a certain pattern, and there's little tracks that kind of go across too, and different areas that have different whatever, and they cross over. In any case, so that's some cool idea there, right? And now what I have is information of, like, oh, cool. Now I know that this is like a weird solar world where things are based on starlight and astrology, astronomy, and all that cool stuff. So now I can start to design, like, okay, cool. Now I know more about the world. I didn't start writing and go, this world is based on astronomy and astrology, and their architecture is made of this, and they're shaped like a pineapple, and blah, 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 and this and that, and rah, 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 rah. It's like, people don't live like that. That's not how we live. even in cities in the world, you know, you start with one thing and you make something new and you keep going and you find out what your culture is over time, right? The same for world building, I think, personally. That's my method. So even for this guy, right? So this guy was kind of a process of sort of like, ooh, okay, cool. So he's got this cool hilt that opens up and it rips the tiles off the floor. So now I know that there is magic. So now I know there is magic. Is magic, right? But they're going to call it alchemy. So they're going to call it alchemy. There's magic. And there is like, you know, based on this, like there is an order. So there is a society as well. There is a society, and there is a power structure, obviously. So all of this stuff is leading to that there is a power structure, there's a society, there's tiles on the ground, which means there's infrastructure for craftsmanship, for this, for that, for anything you do. So like when you're designing this stuff, guys, definitely remember that you don't have to design the whole world before you draw. Like as you draw, you're finding it out as you go, right? That's like a huge part of it for world building, I think. That's the whole premise of the job of a lot of Disney artists is like they're doing story research through drawing. They're just drawing random stuff and seeing what sticks and what looks good. Oh, I forgot about my matcha. Can I have a sip of my matcha? So tasty. A lot of it sunk to the bottom. Let's mix it up a little bit. I hope that helps. I hope that's useful information for you guys. I love world building a lot. I don't think I'll be teaching world building anytime soon because I think there's other people who could teach it a lot better than I could. But it's still really cool. Really cool idea, for sure. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Check them out. Cool. Harshita says it sounds like you do note taking with your drawings. Yeah, it's true. I do that a lot. I do some note taking as well. You have to, if you're world building, you have to, like, or it's just an asset, right? Sketching something is just the form of like quick notes, right? For writing. You got to put the idea down and then refine it later. So let's keep drawing this weird, strange world that we're designing. It's cool. I like it. I like what we're doing here. It's interesting. Right? I also love like old school globes. And like those just cool big clockwork turning track things that go around and connect and interconnect and switch and change, and it's cool. And there's got to be like a guy inside who's controlling it. He's like a little maniacal little guy, right? It's got to be a little maniacal little guy. Now we're getting the hang of it too. So we've got this repeating pattern we're adding in a lot of areas, which I really like this repeating pattern. It's nice. It has a lot of energy. It adds so much energy to all these different areas and stuff, and we can imply that across the whole space if we want to too. Sir Color says, when you're designing a character for animation, how do you think differently than you're designing for a game? That's a good question. Mixter D says, why are you so amazing? Well, amazement is based on lack of experience of something. Like if you show someone the night sky for the first time, they'll be amazed, but if they know the night sky and how it works and they've seen it a million times, it's not so amazing. So I don't know why I'm so amazing, because you don't know any better, maybe. Thank you though, Mixter D. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I really try. I want you guys to like know this stuff, man. This information is not accessible to people, and like they're freaking out about drawing and about art and about who they are and an art career and all this stuff. And you have all these people on YouTube being like do's and don'ts of this and that. And I'm like, buddy, give people the information, the theory, the philosophy, and all this stuff, and like they can figure it out. Like I don't like spoon feeding bad information to people who just want to get better at drawing. Like that's very unethical in my opinion. Not naming names though. No names named. But Figure it out for yourself, man. You know, like, what do you think Da Vinci did? What do you think Michelangelo did? Like, they were learning from each other. They were in studio. They were taking apart corpses. They were figuring it out, man, and just making stuff. Like, just make stuff and figure it out. Like, you're allowed. You have access to all the information ever. Yes, it's overwhelming. Yes, that's a big implication, but it's what you got, dude. It's what you got. So go forth and enjoy what you got. That's my advice to you. Man, I wasted so much time waiting for permission. I wasted so much of my life. And I just see people doing it all the time now. And again, part of the reason why I started streaming and I wanted to get out here and talk about this stuff is because I don't want any more people to wait for permission. You know, it's a net positive. If you spent the rest of your life not creating art and just doing whatever, that's fine. But if you spent a large part of your life creating wonderful things and also just living your life and doing whatever, then I feel like that's like a net positive, right? That's so cool. Moskin says, yeah, I don't really have a mentor around. Your stuff is so cool. Dude, getting a mentor is hard, man. It's hard. It's like, it's expensive because paying for someone's time, it's like, that's time they're not doing other stuff. So you know, it's expensive, but it's so valuable. And yeah, I'll do what I can with you guys here for sure. On YouTube for sure. But I would recommend you guys to find a mentor that works for you, get some sessions in, learn from them. And that's huge. That'll help you so much. Every mentor I've ever had has had such a big impact on my life, like a huge impact on my life. So yeah, let's go. But I love this sketch. This is actually coming in really nice. I like this front entrance too. It's really cool. So this is one thing no one tells you about. When you're doing like a flat sketch like this, one thing you have access to is every drawing you've made so far because it's flat. This is called sketch bashing. I mean, you can call it whatever you want. All these names are made up anyway. Even concept art is like a made up name. Nice. Yeah, I like this design. This is cool. Well, I think we'll leave this here for now. Maybe we can do some more sketch explorations while we just kind of hang out for a little bit before I gotta go eat. I gotta eat in like how many minutes? Let's see. Like half an hour ish, I think. Moskin said, I don't think we should play around with corpses. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. Harshita says, I love the internet. I can access art advice and materials from people across the world. Yeah, you know, I lived in Bermuda, man. And like living in Bermuda, the tiny island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, like there was no art resources there, like at all, really. And so the internet was the only thing I had, which, you know, it's interesting that I'm now streaming and making information and content on YouTube because it's like I feel a lot like I'm giving back to the same community that I got so much from. So it's a real honor to be able to even just talk to you guys and interact online. It's so cool. And again, welcome to everyone who joined recently. Like, wow, like literally over 1,000 people subscribed, like over from the last stream. Like that's nuts. So yeah, tell your friends about the stream if you got art friends. Tell your friends about the content information if they want to get better at world building, character design, anything you want. Let them know. Let them know. Lots of interesting dome shapes. Yeah, I love dome shapes. Intricate patterns you're including. Yeah, you gotta add some cool intricate pattern stuff here and there, in my opinion. I think it's a cool opportunity to take. Pattern is like a huge element of design for me. Like, I really think pattern is important. Culturally, you know, aesthetically, everything. Like, I really, really think pattern is a cool motif. And it's cool when clients like want me to include it in the work too. Like, that's really fun. I really like it a lot. I feel very fortunate. But yeah, I love streaming and teaching in my free time when I'm not working on freelance stuff. I got some really cool opportunities recently, so like I'm so excited. I'm taking January off of the course mentorship stuff so that I can just focus on freelance for a bit, but come February, the next course will start. So if you guys want to spot in that, you know, seats are going, and if you want to take my character design course, then like 100% go join and hop in there. Or honestly, guys, like, if anything, if you don't want one-on-one mentorship, like, join the community. Like, you can join the Discord for like $3 a month. It's very, very cheap. And we do character design challenges, and there's lectures and focus times and all that stuff, and you can meet the whole gang. Everyone, we all hang out in voice chat and talk and do sketch jams and stuff. It's cool. A lot of people just joined it, so like I'm planning on doing a big sketch jam soon, probably later this week. So yeah, feel free to join the Discord through the Patreon link in the description. And yeah, if you want a seat in my class, which is also, you know, hosted in that same space and stuff, then like definitely check that out in the description. Cool. Almost looks like a Pokeball with a tiny hat. Yeah, so true. So true. Yeah, sorry for plugging so much, guys, but it's like I want people to have access to what they need. And based on how well the last course went, people who need this course, I want them to be able to take it. Yeah, okay, baby, let's go. I love this. This is such a cool design. Well, this is fun. So cool. Oh man, all this needs is like some really strong vertical shapes, and it's pretty much done. Hershey says eventually we'll be joining the Discord. Not financially viable right now. Yeah, dude. Sorry about that, man. Sorry. It's tough. Tough out here. Soon. Okay, cool. So I love this, I actually really like this design. This is good fun. Sweet. Okay. What more can I do here? Well, we've got some cool stuff going on already, so maybe from here we can kind of leave this alone for now. I'm imagining this is probably like part of a larger structure, so like if I were to copy this over, what I would probably imagine is that this would be like one piece, and this would be like a large a large piece like on a cliff or something where it extends out even more, and there's more stuff over here, and it's like more towers and other kind of other little bits and bobs going on. And maybe on this side there's like a couple tall towers behind for some vertical energy. Something like that. I feel like that's a cool design for like a building or a place, so I feel like wrapping this up would be pretty cool. In the future, maybe, if I want to. So let's do some more little quick sketchies, and then I will go from there, which is cool. Yeah, this guy's awesome. I really like him a lot. If we were to design another one, like another guy like this, we could try that really quick. Imagining someone with like, I don't know why, but I kind of want to do some like long hair on a character. Maybe we give him like a beard. I kind of want to give one of these guys like a cool beard. Kind of want his like silhouette to be really strong. So like I want to do like a strong, windy kind of vibe, where the cape is just like flown back. Right? And then he's got one too. It'd be cool if they were like lightsabers, they were all different. What would his design be? It would be like feel like it would be a cool Oh no, I like the idea that it's one-handed. I want to give this guy kind of like a Dooku vibe. I don't know why. I have this like urge to like push it in that direction for some reason. Like hand behind the back kind of vibe. Like I love that design. We can give this guy a cool costuming elements too, like a cool kind of waistcoat idea. I love a waistcoat. Such a strong motif. Yeah, dude, this is just a cool Dooku character, I feel, which I'm not upset about at all. I kind of think it's sick. Let's give him a cool belt too, like an interesting belt that kind of clinches there. Kabizu says, nice to see him with his head still attached. Haha, right? So true. Nah, we'll make him different enough. Also, welcome Q. Welcome to everybody, damn. So you've got the same kind of energy of this like back and forth vibe here. Snoozy J says, looks like Qui-Gon Jinn followed in Dooku's footsteps. Yeah, dude, exactly. Also just joined the stream. Hi, dude. What up, Jay? Hope you're doing well, man. Hope life is good. We've been going for a while. Definitely going to be eating dinner soon, so... But we're just kind of pushing this more and more. And this again is based all on this original idea of like just random stuff, right? Like random stuff that we found, these different sort of ideas and motifs, the notes we made. It gave us enough information that now we're able to just like create a new concept just on the spot, really, which is so cool. I like the idea that this guy wields a saber. Like that's cool. I'm becoming more and more interested in like sabers and how they work and saber combat and all that stuff. It's really cool. But remember, it's got to be made of like a bunch of jank, so we got to kind of separate it up into bits and pieces and all of that stuff. You can even show it's like still being kind of crafted in real time. It's so cool. I love this. Like like the idea that the blade is kind of made up of whatever is around. Like, I even like the idea of like, what if it like ripped wood off of like a bar table and became like a wooden blade, but it was like extra calcified or strong because of the magic or alchemy or something, so it still had a lot of cutting potential. I just like that idea of like, what if. So this one is a slight upshot. It's really subtle, but it's like a slight upshot. Kind of helps with the sort of like weird villainous feelings we have for this guy. You can even do another layer of cloak as well, as if you needed more. Big billowy energy. I love it. I love it. Yes. Starting the new year right. Am I right, guys? Am I right? Some funky designs. I think I might post this other guy though. This guy's pretty fun. I think I have enough to make this into a little quick post for fun. This guy's pretty cool too though. I really like his vibe. We can make him taller a little bit by shrinking his upper body slightly. Yeah, there we go. Helps him feel a little more tall and commanding. Not that every character needs to be tall, but you know. Coscrown says, do you ever force creativity or you've never done it? I mean, creativity, again, like, I love these questions. They're great questions. But again, it's kind of looking at sort of like, well, what is the definition of creativity? You know, you're creating something, right? So you're using your brain, your skills to problem solve, to whatever. So like forcing creativity is the idea that maybe if something's not easy or not natural, you're doing it anyway, or you're just like making it work. And that's kind of like, you know, grinding or like, you know, grinding a clock to work without the right gears. You know, it's going to be like eating itself alive a little bit and not functioning properly. But I don't necessarily think that forcing creativity is what people think it is. Again, I think all these terms that we're using should be deconstructed and thought about with better care. And I think that forcing creativity, I think persevering through challenge, yes, I have. I have persevered through challenging creative tasks, oftentimes. And in moments where you don't know what to do, of course, I've gone for it anyway. I've pushed through and just like kept drawing and kept trying ideas out, even if I was feeling like a failure or whatever. But for me, it was different because, you know, with client deadlines, you kind of got to make something and give them something. They're paying you for your time and you got to give them something good. So forcing creativity, it's like of course you can, I think pushing through a challenging idea I have done, and continuing to draw and create even when motivation hasn't really made itself easily available for me, I have also done. One of the greatest quotes I've ever heard about creativity or about, you know, being an artistic professional or whatever is that inspiration is for amateurs, which I thought was so interesting, right? Like, inspiration is for amateurs, like the idea of waiting for inspiration or waiting to be creative. It's like ideas pop into your head for sure. But if you go back and if you weren't here for the first part, Cause Crown, we went through seemingly random images. I'll show you which ones. We started with these random prompts, these random stuff, and we kind of wrote notes about all of them, figured out cohesive, interesting themes, and then we came up with this, in my opinion, pretty fresh idea, pretty interesting idea of this like alchemical secret agent warrior guy who's roaming the temple grounds as a guard, a secret guard, or potentially like he's traveling and gathering information, but he's always prepared, even if he doesn't look like it. And now we're doing another guy of the same order whose their blades are formed from what is around in the area. And otherwise they become these very unique and interesting pendants that they wear on their belt. Seemingly religious symbols or something, but actually very, very intense and unique and interesting relics. So yeah, so it's like kind of magical clockwork stuff. So it's like, I didn't force creativity there, but I didn't just start off and say, I'm going to do a clockwork alchemist character with a sword that's made of whatever material. It's like, no, I have a process. So having a process is, in my opinion, essential. Bizu says, this is like the concept of cultivated motivation versus waiting for inspiration. Yeah, exactly. And also utilizing like little tricks for yourself, or utilizing the way your brain works. So if you say like, I'm going to draw for 5 minutes, by the time the 5 minutes is up, you want to keep drawing. But if you don't, then you stop, but odds are you will. So if you're forcing creativity, or you feel like you have to force creativity, it's probably you're overwhelmed with external narrative or internal narrative that you can't handle and you're ill prepared to deal with. Some random thoughts, and again, grain of salt, guys. I'm one guy. There's a lot of people with a lot of opinions. Get a mix of opinions and try stuff out and figure out what's true for you. Coase Crown says, that's really useful advice. Thanks a lot. Dude, of course. Calvin says, I write only when inspiration strikes. Fortunately, it strikes every morning at 9 o'clock sharp. Yeah, Stephen Pressfield. That's a quote from Stephen Pressfield. Yeah. No, it's true, but that's like so true. So, yeah, you want to be like the human brain. What we think is originality isn't actually originality. And the human brain is remarkable at making connections, keeping connections, finding connections, and all that stuff. And if you're a creator and a creative person, making that skill even more refined is your bread and butter, right? So you want to be doing a lot of that in your career and in your life. I think this guy's kind of done, to be honest. I think he's pretty much set. Let's flip him around and see if he still feels good. There's something about the energy here that I don't like. What if we make this a little, excuse me? Give him a little more attitude. Flip those hips out even more forward. All right. We're pushing the proportions a little bit on this guy, which honestly I like. I think we got to make the head a little smaller and a little more pointed up. Or a little higher. Let's see how that feels. Bizu says, happy I found your stream today. I like hearing everyone's perspectives. Dude, let's go. And Cross Crown says, one more question. How do you deal with self-doubt surrounding your art? Buddy, every day I deal with it. Do I deal with it successfully? Sometimes. Self-doubt, I feel like, affects you the most when you are like not understanding where you are and where you're going. So self-doubt strikes when you are having large expectations for yourself without knowing why and without a real purpose, I think. So like, what does that mean for your process or for your art? I mean, honestly, I think that self-doubt, I feel like self-doubt comes from a lot of external narrative around like, you should be this, or you should be that, or you should be able to do this, or this is important, or so-and-so artist that I admire said that the fundamentals are really important. So unless I'm a master of the fundamentals, I'm a failure, versus what that artist was trying to tell you is probably that you want to do certain ideas, and gaining mastery in those fundamentals will allow you to execute on those ideas, right? So that's a good example of one, for instance. But also self-doubt strikes when you are feeling like insecure, frustrated, things aren't happening as fast as you want, you have an ego problem, like your esteem is low, you feel ashamed of where you're at with your art. And let me tell you, that self-doubt happens with every artist at every level. You'll see a high level professional, they're comparing themselves to artists who are even better than them, and they're feeling that exact same self-doubt, that exact same pressure. So it's not exclusive to the beginning, and the faster you solve that in the early part of your journey, the better equipped you'll be to actually like go throughout the rest of your journey, because it'll affect you no matter what. But I think the real key with self-doubt, the struggle with self-doubt, I would say, is that I don't think you can necessarily stop self-doubt. I think it's in some ways healthy. But one thing that I would say is that if it's stopping you from drawing, solve that part first. Solve the part of where is it actually stopping you, and work backwards from that. Because if you have self-doubt but you're still drawing, then it's like, okay, you'll push through, you'll prove yourself, you'll prove the part of yourself that has self-doubt wrong by pushing through, and you'll gain confidence and have less self-doubt, at least for the time being. Or you'll let it stop you, and it'll only grow, the self-doubt. And you'll have that like retrospective frustration of like, oh, if I only just practiced instead of being afraid to practice. Like, if only I wasn't afraid for my art to look kind of ugly, to make a lot of stuff and put a lot of stuff out, I would be so much farther along. So it's like, okay, why aren't you doing that now? Well, it's too late for me to do that now. Why? Why is it too late for you to do that now? That's insane. Damn, we got a lot of information in this stream. Gosh. And remember, guys, grain of salt. Everything I say, grain of salt. My ramblings and my perspective is the perspective of one artist who's been doing art for their life, but I'm just one person. Murat Ayaz says, what is the computer features? Okay, I'm assuming you're asking what I'm using. So, gosh, what am I using? Well, I'm on right now. This is gonna blow your guys' mind. I don't know. Is that I am on a M1 Mac Mini that I bought for $700. Apple. I bought an M1 Mac Mini, and my camera is a Sony A7C. So, base model. M1 Mac Mini. That's my setup right now. And I'm using a Sony A7C with a 35mm lens. So what I'm using to draw on right now is a Wacom 1 that I won in a competition, which is a tiny tablet. It's honestly, I don't think it's very good, but it's what hey, you know what? It's doing the job right now. Everything I did just now is on this Wacom 1, so can I really complain? But I'm on a Wacom 1 currently. My usual setup back in my studio in New York is a 22-inch Cintiq from like 2014. So it's really old. It's like 10 years old. So got to upgrade that relatively soon. But it's still kicking, baby. So there's that. What else am I using? Gosh. Yeah, that's pretty much it currently. That's my current setup that I'm using while I'm traveling. And then I've got a mic, obviously, but I won't give you guys all the information. But it's a pretty cheap computer. Oh gosh. Okay, we got someone saying draw Eddsworld Tom. I don't know who that is. Who is that? Okay, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna draw that. So sorry. It was kind of weird. So what else we got going on here? Zealous has got a lot of grains. Could fill a salt shaker. Let's go. 4YC says, how do you practice the fundamentals? Any particular exercise recommend, especially for understanding 3D form perspective, LMAO? Yeah, okay, I'll give you a good one that I did a lot when I was in high school, and then my gap year, and then university. That really helped me do a lot of that. Bizu says the bun up there is really doing things for the design, I feel. Yeah, it's good. It's like a bun does a lot, actually, believe it or not. Like, everything kind of does a lot, but the bun is doing a lot here, which I like. I like this guy. He's fun. Honestly, I think I want to have a more of a this design for him, for his pose. I want more of a vertical, straightforward design. So probably need a little bit more refinement for this guy. This guy's not as fast and loose. I'm overthinking it a little bit. This one was not for a 2-hour challenge, so I'm overthinking it. But how do I practice? So I'll show you. So what I'll do usually is I'll post up in a cafe somewhere, right? And I'll say like, okay, I'll look at kind of the relative perspective of things. And obviously we know from perspective, like we have 1-point perspective where you have a horizon, a point, and then anything that is a 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional object will be either like facing you and receding back into this space. So everything will recede back into that 1 point of perspective. So there's that element of it, right? So, but then there's also, if it's not facing in that direction, it'll still be in a box like that. So even if you have something turned over, it'll still be within this kind of grid. So you'd box it out and kind of say like, okay, well, you know, there's a car flipped on its side, but I know it fits in this box. So I know the front wheels will be facing over and the driving seat will be there and the back wheels will be smaller because they'll fit into the thing and the blah, blah, blah. And that's how you make that work. So there's that one, right? 1-point perspective. Then there's obviously 2-point perspective where things are meeting in the middle, things are receding and hitting the thing. If you don't know perspective, I'm not the guy. Right now, I'm not the guy. Maybe I'll do fundamental videos in the future, but Modern Day James does a good job of that. Go check out Modern Day James. However, exercises, I would say I would post up in a cafe and I would draw myself drawing from another angle. So for instance, right now I'm in a room, and in that room, right, let's say I know the kind of perspective here. So let's do an extreme perspective. So this is going to be a 3-point perspective, right? Where you have 2 points of perspective and then you have also a vertical point of perspective as well, right? So let's say this is where I'm at right now. So currently how the setup is I've got a door right here. So I know the door is here. Zooming out. And I know this actually extends a little bit farther into this space. Is that there's the desk is right here. Right? So I know, and I'm freehanding this. This maybe isn't a good example. This is what I would do. So I would kind of freehand this space of like, okay, I know the desk is here, but I'd be like, ooh, no, it comes out farther. So I'd be like, all right, it's not that high, it's this high, and it comes out this far, because you kind of check to see the how things look and how things are lining up in the space, right? You're like, okay, that feels good. I know there's a chair here, right, and the back is here, and I've got a couple books right in this area that I've got the Cintiq, this little tiny Wacom tablet stacked on. Then I have a stand for it that I use for my iPad when I'm using it. So I got my little tablet here. I've got my keyboard here. I've got my iPad mini as a second monitor right here, if you can believe it. That's what I'm reading the chat on. And then I've got a tripod with my camera set up, right? That's right here. My little microphone there, but this is the setup, right? And then I've got my mouse right here. So I've kind of drawn this in perspective right now, right? So I kind of know that's where the information is. And then I'll draw myself sitting in the thing. I'm hunched over. I've got my hand up on the tablet. The other hand is across on the keyboard right now with the down and the cross, right? My little jacket. This is like a little quick sketch, right? Just digital little quick sketch. I'm normally not as bad at drawing as this, but I'm showing you what I would do. So I would take like 30-40 minutes and do a drawing like this in a cafe. Then there's like a bed across in the space as well. I'm staying with some family right now, so I've got this kind of setup in the space. And there's a little pillow here and rah, 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 and all that stuff. And I know there's some dressers here, so I can draw the top of the dresser, right? And if they're, because of the scale, maybe if there's a little mouse friend here, the mouse would be like, hello, looking up at you, right? Or whatever. There's the door and the thing, and there's a thing and the thing. So like I would do stuff like that, but I would look around me and draw what was around me, right? That's kind of fun, right? And then if you want to, you can get inventive, right? So once you have this vibe or this space, you can kind of be like, oh, and also there's like a dragon in the room, and the dragon is like here and it's looking at me, and I know what it would be feeling like in the space because it's receding back and then it's coming forward here. So I know how it would look, and it'd be looking right at me, and it would be with his big old nostrils. You'd be like, meh. Right? So you can get inventive too with this stuff. There's a lot of what Kim Jong-il would do too, right? He would set a perspective rule and then just draw a bunch of crazy stuff in there. And what if there was a knight standing on the bed? And you know, of course I'm just really scribbling this in, but again, like that kind of perspective stuff I feel like is good. So, and then I would do crazy ones too. So I would do like top down ones where I would show like, or like crazy top down wacky perspective. So I would show how things would like recede down into like the vertical space, and it'd be hyper perspective, and then I'd draw it from below, and I would say like, oh well, from the ground I know the desk goes up here and here, and I know my head would be right here looking at the tablet and all that stuff, and I know my leg would be here coming forward, and this leg would be going back here, and the cushion of the chair would be there, and it would go back here, the desk would be going this way. Like, so there's a lot of stuff you can do for fun to draw in perspective. But I would definitely say, like, just take from your life what's happening around you and just draw it from different perspectives. Like, take the information you know from 1, 2, 3 point perspective and do that. That's how I grew the fastest with perspective drawing, and that's a huge asset for my world building too. And even when I want to do stuff, like I do environment work sometimes. Like I was working on this one sketch recently. I'll pull it up. Oh well, here's one. This is actually way too in development, but yeah, this was all freehand perspective. That was the wrong one though. Oops, sorry. But the one I've done here is this one, which I had a foreground element that I'm editing right now. I don't know if I'm gonna include it into final, but yeah, foreground element that I'm kind of developing a little bit here and there. But yeah, like this will, I had some stuff going on here, but I think I'm gonna redraw it a little bit. But for this, like zooming in, you can see all the perspective. Like I set the rule and I just followed it along the form. There's a little dining table and a little building here and some bridges going across and some glider people doing glider stuff, and something's going to be in the foreground. I don't know what yet, but we'll find out. But that's a little environment sketch too. So if you can master perspective and learn some motifs for environment, you can do a lot of cool, fun stuff with your work if you want to. But yeah, hope that helps. That's actually probably a good place to, I think, leave it for today before we continue noodling forever and ever and ever. How long have we been going for here? Let's find out. Oh, 2 hours. Okay, perfect timing. So let's see. We got Dragon Witch joint. Yeah, exactly. Similar to some Kim Jong-il recommendations once before. Yeah, dude. I learned so much from Kim when I was younger in high school. I was like obsessed. How important is it to get proportions right in this exercise? How important is it to get proportions right? I would try, because that's like the purpose, right? You're trying to understand scale, proportion, put things in perspective correctly. Like, I would say it's pretty important. But I mean, like, getting the energy is important too. But that, I would say, try and get the proportions like somewhat correct. Not, you don't have to be a stickler about it, but you know, if you want to grow and have your proportions be better every time, then try to make them better, right? Cause Crown says, how about overthinking your designs? How do you deal with it? Oof, dude. That one I'm still figuring out. So that one I don't have mystical, magical information for you. Overthinking your designs, I think like you want to be detached, you want to know what it's for, and you want to not make it your value. You don't want to be like, this design has to show how good I am as an artist. You don't want to do that. You want to go, this design needs to show what it needs to show and be able to move on from it. So detachment, I think, is a great way to not overthink something, and being able to let go if something's not working. Like, you know, you can let it go. You just want to still finish a lot of stuff that you make, right? Looks awesome, very atmospheric. Yeah, I love that sketch. It was a fun sketch. This one was fun. But yeah, so we got a cool guy here. I like him a lot. He's about to do an epic duel. He's about to defend the court. I like to think this guy's like a senior alchemist. He's about to throw down. He's about to let him know. The bad guy just invaded, and he's about to get thrashed by our mentor character. Let's put his hand down a little bit more. There's an argument here that we want things to be much more energetic, so much more like this. That we want this to be more oh, okay. So, all right, guys, that's gonna just about do it for today. I've got to bounce. I've got to go eat with my wonderful, fantastic, beloved girlfriend and her wonderful, fantastic, beloved family. So I'm gonna have to bid you guys adieu now. But let's do our usual wrap up. So fun exploration. So we had this design we did from a challenge in the Discord, which again, if you guys want to join, you can join. Very cheap. We have a new guy, which is fun, we're developing, and we did a pretty fun environment exploration. Like, I think this was really successful, actually. This was a lot of fun. So we can kind of we can return to this next time, or maybe I'll develop it and post it and you guys can see. Who knows? But yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. But maybe we can develop this guy. Who knows? But yeah, it was great hanging out with you guys. Awesome. And let's do our usual outro, I guess. I mean, if you guys are watching this live, hi, it's great to see you. You're awesome. And I love you a little bit. And thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, it's been amazing to have you guys here live. Like, you're such a champion. You're awesome. For people who are watching this back as a recording, welcome. Subscribe if you're new. And before you guys leave, definitely remember to like the video. Like, that does so much for the algorithm. So many people found the last stream, and I'm so happy that so many people found it. So hopefully people find this one too, and we can all get to know each other better. But yeah, definitely leave comments for stuff that you guys want to know more about. If you had any questions, reflections, thoughts, anything like that, definitely hit me up, anything like that. If you have questions about my character design course, my 7-week character design course, definitely shoot me a message about it. If you're like, is this for me? Would this be beneficial at my level? Blah, blah, blah. For the last cohort of students, I talked a lot about the course with them to see if it was a good fit for where they're at. So definitely hit me up. Don't be shy with any questions about it, you know. Yeah, definitely a good time. Thank you guys so much for being such an incredible community. I'm very, very lucky to be able to do this and enjoy it and have a great time. And I will catch you guys definitely on the next one. I don't know when the next stream is. I think probably at least in the next couple days if I can manage it. It's hard streaming while I'm traveling, but I've got some time this week to set aside, so hopefully I can continue to do it. Happy New Year's, guys. Set those resolutions, make the commitments, do awesome stuff, have a healthy, balanced life, enjoy drawing, and all that fun stuff. Okay, and with that, I will bid you all adieu. I'll see you in the next